Ambrose slips back. Oh, this is heartbreaking. Paul Radisic, lap 3, he's already pulled out. That is heartbreaking.
There's smoke pouring out from under that bonnet. Marshals are under it pretty quickly. And it's always a risk. Not quite sure what's put that car out, but it's always difficult when a crew is trying to put the car together in a very, very short period of time. There's always the risk that something's been missed or something may have broken as a result of the crash. It's a tough order.
The team trying to have a chat to Paul Radisic. You can't seem to hear them, so there's all sorts of problems inside the DJR Shell Helix Racing Ford Falcon.
Can you hear me, Paul?
Here we go. Let's have a look at what happened here. Well, this is the Lansvale car just getting out of the way. Looks like he's may have blown an engine because the cars that were just coming around there before we went to that replay were skating and skidding all off the track. So I think Paul's dropped a lot of slippery fluid there. Oh, we've got a problem here now.
Wayne Gardner and Simon Wills in trouble. Looks as though it's up the top of Bartels Road. It is. Yep. That's the right-hand turn, and there seems to be a lot of trouble on the Simon Wills Cat Ford. Well, so much so that he's lost the front door.
I suspect that's a result of whatever Paul Radisic dropped on the road, because a lot of cars were skating off there. It's maybe caught these two out as well. Look at the damage here. Simon Wills in the Caterpillar Ford. Wayne Gardner, he's got a tyre cutting itself to pieces back there.
Smoke pouring out the back of the Caltex Haviline Dark Dog Stone Brothers car. Wayne Gardner had to go through pre-qualifying to get here. The 1987 500cc world champion is going to contest selected rounds in the V8 Supercar Championship this year, and will also go in the Enduros. There's all sorts of pieces hanging out the bottom of that car.
I think he's broken the rear suspension too. Looks like that axle is moving laterally.
Obviously, John Bowe's car has also been brought in. It is stuck in 4th gear, and the Aussie Mail Ford has been pushed back into the garage.
Gardner's car's just come into the pits, into the Stone Brothers pit. Wayne's getting out of it. There's a right load of damage on the back of it, and I would say I very much doubt whether it'll be coming back into the race, because the rear left-hand tyre is squashed by all the bodywork and that, so I'd say that's goodbye to Wayne Gardner, well, at least for today anyway.
The casualties up.
Yeah, what happened there, Wayne? It's a bit of a bad luck story.
Yeah, I don't really know. Yeah, Simon Wills had spun out there, and as I turned in, the rear just let go, whether I got a tap at the rear or there was some oil or something, but the car just turned around and obviously ran into Wills just trying to get back onto the track. I don't know, a bit of a mystifying thing to me. Short-lived race, it's a shame because it wasn't too bad, the car was coming through the field.
Well, they should be out tomorrow.
Yeah, I think so. It's not terminal, but it's just disappointing, obviously, to be in Sydney. I'd rather be out there playing with the rest of them. It happens like that.
Just down here at the Aussie Mail pit. I'm not sure if you can see this at the moment.
In 2002, car number 3.
Cameron McConville. What a shame for the Lansvale racing team.
It's been a difficult weekend for them, hasn't it? Because Trevor Ashby was. Scaife are still way ahead. Tander and Lowndes go 3rd and 4th. Ingle, Ambrose, Greg Murphy up to 7th. Max Wilson 8th. Stephen Richards in the Caltex Commodore is 9th, and Stephen Johnson remains in 10th position.
David Bernard, it's interesting, I was just talking to the team and they were saying the car's been running really, really hot. He's been short shifting over the last sort of 5 or 6 laps.
Funny in the hand. Oh, John Faulkner.
The Dynapack racer trying to excruciatingly get himself out of there. He has gone in hard. Look at the back wheel spinning as he tries to bring it back out.
That looks exactly like the Lowndes situation at Mount Panorama last year. Remember, he dug it into those tyre walls so hard that it just absolutely wrapped around the car and he couldn't reverse out.
Not to mention an almighty shunt he had at the GMC 400 in Canberra. Poor old John Faulkner ended up in the medical tent for some time. And next to Roadhoff, his car just about, that car is in a precarious position. So that is down at turn 11. It's in between turn 10 and 11 on the forward corner.
What's going to be interesting here is to see whether any of these teams...
It never really happened. Take a look at this. They're coming at the end of Decaturville Terrace. The Castrol Perkins Commodore is the first one to go.
So Steve locked up his rear brakes.
Waited for the mess to happen. Anthony Tratt tried to find a little hole through, and he got through it as well. Tony Longhurst is caught up in there as well. And then Stephen Richards gets up on the grass to get around the trouble.
Wow, they were lucky to get away with that. Let's look at this from another angle. See Bargwana and Longhurst got through, but Max Wilson didn't crunch the better electrical car. And Brad Jones caught up. Anthony Tratt threads the needle. He gets through. Ambrose, too. They won't want to keep that up.
Oh, Stephen Ellery.
Can you believe it? He was running in the top 10.
Look at that. We've got a car on the right. We've got a car on the left and heaps of oil in between. That was from Max Wilson's car, no doubt about it. Look at Stephen Ellery into the wall.
Well, he hit that oil and he paid the price. Look at the damage there. Max Wilson has just laid a rainbow right down the side of the road. Safety car is coming onto the track.
I tell you what, Paul Radicic is sitting alongside us. That was almost a carbon copy of what happened to you.
What a rotten bit of luck.
Well, look where he ended up, too. He comes through that Dunlop sweeper, and this is the thing that got us about your incident a couple of days ago, Paul. You go in, I mean, you're stopping all the way down the end of that straight. That's the kind of pace that you're putting through there. So Max Wilson's oil slick that he's left behind leaves a trail of disaster behind it. And the 5'4" Brazilian is out of the cockpit, walking around with a slight limp.
Let's have a look at this at race speed. This is Stephen Ellery getting onto the oil, and kapow!
Nasty.
How long does it take him to stop? It's just the biggest paint scraper right down the wall, a couple of 100 metres at least. And Stephen Ellery will be shattered. There's Max Wilson out of the better electrical car, but boy, oh boy, what a moment.
It's the frustrating thing for these guys down here is that they were saying they lost their telemetry around 30 laps ago. So they've had...
About to warn the cars.
Glenn Seaton.
No.
Glenn Seaton has bit the bullet up on that turn. That's turn 4 as he's gone into the wall. And quite a few cars have come unstuck there.
Can they get him going, though? That's the question. They can't move. Oh, problems here.
Jason Bargwanna. He could have been involved in that Seaton incident further back on turn 4. He's managed to get it all the way down to Bartels and Decaturville, so he's got about 4 or 5 turns left. There's definite front right damage to the Valvoline Cummins Commodore.
Well, amongst all this, we've been trying to have a chat.
Out of my hands, it was just, I guess, unlucky.
Bargwanna's in there getting hurried repairs by the crew. Greg Rust is on the spot.
Pretty hot conditions down here too, Mark. You can see the guys, they put their hand underneath the guard trying to pull it out a bit, but obviously with that tyre rubbing on, it's generated plenty of heat through it. Now they've got the dent puller on it as well. Barg's losing a lot of time. A bit further down pit lane, Brad Jones is in. They're working on the rear of that car, so not a good day for the Aussie male team either.
Well, thanks for your time up here, and best of luck tomorrow.
No worries, thank you very much.
Wayne Gardner joining us in the commentary box. Look at this battle, though. Garth Tander under a lot of pressure. This is how Greg Murphy found his way past. So it's been a real battle off the lead. Another replay.
This looks as though the replay incident of the Glenn Seaton tangle with Jason Bargwanna. Bargwanna cuts across and Seaton.
Well, information is that Seaton had a jam throttle. I mean, you look at that incident, it certainly looks like it. He had no control.
Ooh, Marcus Ambrose got a little bit sideways coming into the sweeper there. At the moment, Jason Bright, Mark Scaife, Garth Tander. Then Greg Murphy and Marcus Ambrose. Can Scaife get his teammate? There's trouble out the back of the Bright Commodore. Scaife takes the lead in the Clipsal 500, and Jason Bright's rear wheel is loose.
I reckon he's broken his whole back suspension there. The whole axle is moving from one side of the car to the other. Look at this.
The defending Adelaide champion looks as though he's hit the wall. He has in the sweeper, so trouble for Jason Bright.
Well, we saw a situation when the Watts link. Oh, look at that collision there between Tander as well.
Oh, that's exactly what they were trying to tell him.
They were trying to tell him to come in. Now he's got to try and limp a whole lap around. He's missed the pit entry. He's got 3.2 kilometres of racetrack now to try and limp his way around.
Look at that number 2 car. It's all over the shop. And look at the rear wheel. The rear right wheel is in big trouble. Looks as though it's going to fly off at any second. Craig Lowndes goes around him.
What's happening here is the whole axle is moving left and right under the car. The Watts link that locates the axle laterally has broken, and the whole axle is moving left to right. It's not a wheel coming off, it's the whole rear axle assembly. And if that comes off, he is going to be stranded out there. Look at it. It could break any second. He could be stranded out there on the circuit.
And the rest of the field has started to pounce. They're going past Jason Bright as if he's standing still. Remember, he took the lead from the very first turn. He started in position 2, shot past his teammate. That was almost 2 hours ago. Now an hour and 57 down the track. Jason Bright is limping along with smoke pouring out of the back of the HRT Commodore and cars lining up to pass him.
It's just amazing when you see the dominance they've shown early in the race, and for that to happen under enormous pressure from his teammate Mark Scaife. Look at the way he's battling this car, the axle going left, right, left, right. There wouldn't be much holding that thing in now, and the tyres rubbing on the insides of the wheel.
And troubles too for David Bernard in the Caltex Haviland Ford Falcon. Trouble galore from the restart, and at the moment it is Scaife, Tander, then Murphy. Bright is in a whole world of trouble.
Scrutineers have called him in. That's Jeff Greck on the radio. Once he's in, he's in. That is kaput. So one Holden Racing Team Commodore out. So he's going to limp all the way down pit lane. Oh, what a disappointment for this crew. Jason Bright's been in scintillating form throughout the week. Showed a great amount of speed in race trim as well.
So your PlayStation 2 race score at the moment has Scaife, then Tander and Murphy, Ambrose, Lowndes and Longhurst. Stephen Richards in 7th. Bright is out.
Well, you can see the front headlights of Garth Tander's car starting. Now here's the incident. Crutch! Just hit that wall pretty hard when he came out of the sweeper. Look at that axle. Left, right, left, right. He was very lucky to maintain control. Mark Scaife right up behind him would have seen that and took advantage as soon as they came out of this turn.
This will be interesting into turn 1, and they've already gone off. Oh, that's an incredible smash to start this race. The Valvoline Cummins Commodore, and they're all over the shop. 6 or 7 cars have gone completely off. That is an amazing start.
Well, Jason Bargwanna, in his most competitive outing for a long time, he didn't get more than 100 metres off the start. He's got out of the Valvoline Cummins car, gives a wave to the crowd, but that's the second time Jason Bargwanna has crunched that tyre wall on the pit straight. We saw him in trouble in the rain a couple of years back. There's the Valvoline Cummins team watching on nervously. Gary Rogers, the team boss, in there, and they'll be very glad to see Jason walking out of that car unscathed. But what a massive crash. Red flags out. Race has been stopped. No surprise there.
Keep your eyes on the left-hand side of the screen. The Shell Helix Ford is covering him at the moment. All of a sudden, Bargwanna gets squeezed out to his right. Wham! Upside down to start round 2.
Well, he got tapped by another car. I couldn't see which one it was in the pack there. But he was heading in a straight direction, and suddenly the car jagged right. So there's been some contact in the middle of the pack.
Look who went off. That's Rodney Forbes in front. See if he gets that tyre wall down there.
Just kissed it, I think.
Yeah, just finished on the edge of those tyres. It looks as though Stephen Johnson. This is another angle of this opening crash. I mean, you're only going 100 metres from the start-finish line there, and all of a sudden, Jason Bargwanna is on his head.
It's completely ripped the rear axle assembly out of that car. You can see it sitting on the road behind the wreck.
Bargwanna and Greg Murphy just about coming to blows in pit lane. Temperatures at boiling point. It's around 160, 170 kilometres per hour. Now, just underneath the Dunlop sign, they've gone through there. Keep your eyes on the 2 cars at the right of the track. Greg Murphy is behind. Jason Bargwanna is in front. And from this point on, Bargwanna becomes a passenger in this 600 horsepower car, and it's heading straight for the wall.
Yeah, the interesting thing too, when you just look up in front of where Bargwanna hits, here he comes now, drills the bank, rolls it over. But there was a very similar incident just up ahead of them between...
Look at it, and Garth Tander in the other Valvoline Cummins Commodore. Oh, that's just shattering news.
That wheel's coming off.
200 kilometres an hour. Here's Garth Tander coming into the pit lane.
They're endeavouring to fix this right rear wheel, but it's really got them perplexed, guys. They're not sure why the wheel came off.
Look at the amount of aluminium swarf just floating around there. That wheel has been destroyed. Everyone will have their fingers crossed now.
18, Craig Lowndes, good mover. And that looks like...
that's the Team Kiwi car.
Kiwi car of Jason Richards gone off.
That's a shame because he had his best qualifying performance, outstanding to qualify 15th. Yesterday in those wet conditions. This guy really flies when the track gets wet. But now problems here. Fortunately, he's been able to get away. The car's still running.
Penalty.
9-4.
This is what happened to the 25-year-old Kiwi. That's at the southern loop, so turn 2. A little bit of a tangle with the Brock car of Craig Baird. Oh, he just found the wrong part of that section, didn't he? The wrong part of the tyre wall he found. Jason Richards gets
coming out of Siberia.
Right-hand side.
Well, there was John Bowe was on the inside there too. It might have been a domino effect from one car on the inside. Then you get 3 cars leaning on each other. Anything can happen. Stone Brothers team are setting up for a change. And this is a bit earlier on. Contact between Stephen Ellery and Max Wilson. It was just on the approach to Lukey Heights, just around the hay shed there. Fast part of the racetrack. Wilson gets back into the battle. Ellery, not sure whether he's okay. He's parked up there, hasn't hit anything. Let's have a look at the replay of that incident. Well, There have been 3 cars involved there. So Rick Kelly taking evasive action, the Holden Young Lions. Commodore, everyone had to spread which way to get around it. Oh!
There's John Faulkner.
Faulkner too has just recently retired. Let's have a look at this. Well, Super Cheap Auto's car got stuck under the bumper of the better electrical Ford. All hell breaks loose. And everyone manages to pick their way. Unfortunately, John Faulkner, though, made contact as he came back onto the track.
The medical centre, and I feel quite good, but you know, it was unfortunate, and it means we're going to sit out the rest of the day, obviously.
Oh, look at this contact between Russell Ingall and Stephen Richards, the teammates. Under brakes into Honda corner. There'll be some discussion in the Castrol pit after that. Let's have a look at this again from Ingall's viewpoint.
Yeah, wouldn't you love to be in the transporter after this one? It's obviously...
Had everything locked up, did he?
Yeah, Richo's obviously decided to look after the rear tyre there by slowing the car down a little bit, but Russell's tried to keep pushing through, but yeah, not very good.
Holden again, and one of the Valvoline cars. That's the Ultratune car of Paul Romano and also Rodney Forbes. That's a lot of impact around the back part of this circuit.
Looks like he's stuck there, and they could bring out a safety car if they can't get those cars out of the way. And they're vulnerable. Look at this attack now by Ambrose. He goes down the inside. We go back on board. The Pertec Ford, hard under brakes up to the southern loop. Ambrose is really putting some pressure here on Todd Kelly. Sneaks up the inside between the two apexes out of the southern hairpin, and he gets him. So Ambrose takes second place and sets his sights on skate. Oh, pit this lap, so there could be a safety car coming out soon.
As a result, probably, of that Romano-Forbes crash, so Marcus Ambrose made his intentions very clear and very early on Todd Kelly. Picked him up at the exit of turn 2.
Here's the safety car. Well, there's the safety car out. Safety car sign, yellow flags waving. We haven't heard from race control yet that the safety car has been called out. As far as we know, it's on standby. Meanwhile, Rodney Forbes tries to limp back the damaged 00 Motorsport Ford. You can see substantial damage to the front of that car.
This is the incident between Forbes and Romano. Forbes stuck on the inside, pushes Romano out of the way. Stephen Ellery managed to escape all that trouble there, but look at the damage to the front left. The 00 Falcon.
Well, we can confirm that the safety car is coming out onto the circuit now. And this could open up to a lot of frantic pit activity. You could hear,
got him on the way back as well.
What on earth happened there?
That was Rodney Forbes trying to rejoin the race and get back to pit lane, and Paul Romano threw in a second punch just for good measure.
They've got real dramas trying to talk to Craig Lowndes at the moment. They've had 5 goes at...
Oh, John Bowe, race leader. He was. He got into all sorts of trouble down at Honda Turn. That gave the lead to Garth Tander. Greg Murphy ducking through there. Scaife now up behind the better electric car of Wilson. And now he's come into pit lane. Tyre change, compulsory tyre change taking place. John Bowe quite not sure whether it was driver error or mechanic. And hard under brakes into Honda corner. Oh, gives him a little bit of a hurry up as well. Ambrose sneaks up the inside. No! And there's been contact between the two of them.
Max Wilson caught in the middle of turn 4. And Craig Lowndes, it looks like, one of the 00 Motorsport Fords has gone crunch straight into him.
I think there's problems here for Ambrose. There's smoke pouring from the... There it is. Smoke pouring from the Pertec Falcon.
You got a tyre rubbing, mate.
Well, all sorts of trouble. It was always going to end in tears, wasn't it? Mark Scaife got ahead.
Ready for you, mate. Just to pit this lap.
Ambrose running wide. I don't think this car is working very well. He just went way offline there. Oh, look at Wilson's car.
Max Wilson, you want to get off the track quickly because it's a very nasty, sharp right-hander. He got passed by Mark Scaife going into turn 4. It's right back down to 77 kilometres per hour there, and by the time that he got locked in between Scaife and Ambrose, there was all sorts of trouble. Ambrose got caught right up behind him. By the time they'd spun around, there was too much smoke on the circuit for the other guys to see what was going on.
Well, it's a shattering for Marcus Ambrose.
Sorry about that, guys.
Max Wilson hasn't made too many friends here. Let's have a look at this again.
They got through cleanly all right there, and that was the contact just as they were coming out of turn 4.
Now watch Wilson get cleaned up by Lowndes. Watch this. Bang! Look at the impact there. The Lowndes just a victim in all that, drove them through a wall of smoke. Let's have a look at it from the cherry picker. Contact between the Pertec Ford and the better electrical car. Ambrose sneaks past, but Lowndes cannot see a thing.
Todd Kelly got through okay. By the time that Marcus Ambrose was back, Craig Lowndes was off with a lot of damage to the left-hand side.
This is the damage. This is where Marcus Ambrose contacted the back of the better electrical Ford. Safety car is going to come onto the circuit. Caution lights are on. What a shattering end after a great start. There's Lowndes. He's had probably bitten his tongue as well in that impact. Because he really took the brunt of that.
Yep, bit his tongue. He's just telling the guys there on the side of the track, I bit my tongue. It's amazing, isn't it? So much damage. But thankfully, Craig Lowndes is okay. Marcus Ambrose is in the pits. His car's in a whole lot of trouble. Mark Scape is our race leader at the moment. The upshot is that there's 20 laps to go and a lot of positions to work out who's going where. Race 2 of round 2. The V8 Supercar Championship continues. There's a hell of a long way to go in this one.
Hydraulic fluid. Let's have a look at the incident again. And this is the impact that did all the damage. Look at that. Doesn't look that heavy, but it's enough to do the damage to the steering rack that's put him out of the race. Max Wilson, look at Lowndes. He's got nowhere to go. Crunch. Just drove into a cloud of smoke.
I reckon if Max just stayed on the brake pedal there, everyone would have avoided him. But anyway.
This is the view of the back of Mark Scape's car at this turn, turn 4. Keep your eyes on Marcus Ambrose as he spins around the better electrical Ford. And then as Mark Scape pulls away from the damage, the carnage just gets worse.
Let's have a look at this again from another angle. Got it all covered here. You can see he just bumped the back bumper there. Ambrose took advantage of the fact that Wilson was a bit offline. And he came back on the Pertec Ford. Big impact and an even bigger one coming here. Look at that. We saw Craig Lowndes even bit his tongue.
With Max Wilson, tell us what happened in that incident. Looked like you spun the car around and smoked it up champ car style.
No, really, I mean, that was after the accident. Actually, what happened was his cave overtook me. We don't turn before, and I was right behind him, and the Ambrose was right behind me. And then, you know, the hairpin, I was behind Scaife, and when I was inside the turn already, Ambrose just came and hit me on my door, and he spun me off. And it was really stupid of him because, you know, my race is done and his race is done. You know, I'm surprised as a guy that has been around for such a long time can do such a stupid thing as he did. But, you know, still a long way to go, and I'll be here, and better days are going to come for us.
Hey, keep smiling, mate. It'll happen. Don't worry.
No worries.
Well, he's a crowd favourite. There's no doubt about that, Mac.
Off the line, really pounced on the Pertec Ford, and he's actually going to try and round up Mark Scape as well. He's gone way offline though.
Straight into the dirt at turn 2, the Kmart Commodore. He really took the jump out to Marcus Ambrose, and there's a spin there involving Brad Jones. Brad Jones in the Aussie Mail Ford Falcon caught at the exit of 2 rear panel damage to the... He is. He's coming in on 3 wheels.
It's a sidecar, not a car.
Paul's lost his surname. As he comes in, they jack it straight up. Well, you're not going to find it under there. Don't worry about that. Whack another one on. That was the incident. That looks as though it's up the top of turn 2, so he's lost that completely. He's almost completed an entire lap with 3 wheels.
Well, he'd come in one of the cars that have made his compulsory tyre change. They're just trying to clean up the hub and check it and make sure it's not damaged so he can continue. So this is what I mean. It's a bit costly, this. Crew's changing wheels under pressure. Little things can go wrong.
That's why it's very much a team effort now, Mark.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's got to work all together. Obviously, the drivers, you know, as I said earlier, to find 1 second out there is very hard.
Yeah.
And but to find one or...
He's got the headlights on, and Rodney Forbes finds the wall.
Oh, it's the old colour scan Falcon. They put Rodney back in that car because of the damage inflicted on Lowndes' car at Phillip Island.
2 here if he can hold off. And this is the incident involving Max Wilson and Rodney Forbes. Forbes loses the rear of that. Same spot as Greg Ritter and crash into the concrete.
A little bit too much throttle weight.
A little bit too ambitious on the pedal at that stage. He obviously tried to drive it up the inside there of Max and got it sideways, got it loose, and
ran out of ability.
Well, once you get to that point, momentum, you say, well, I don't want to say that, but
Here, the Super Cheap Autos car locked him up coming into turn 2. Lost himself a few positions as a result.
that's what happens. You try really hard, and then you overdo it. You know, there's a level, and particularly when the tyres are old and you're getting tired as well, and there's a lot of carbon monoxide in there, and of course you got in there hot trying to make up, you know, a little bit of time on the guy in front, and of course lock the rears. He's gone off and going, oh man,
So
lose about
angle.
10 spots.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just you know, getting a bit too anxious with 3 or 4 laps to go. It was unfortunate for him.
That car to the start line. Larry Perkins involved in a spin.
Oh, shunt. Look at the bonnet.
Yeah.
The bonnet's got a huge kink in it, so he's had a hit with something.
Barg's just stroking it along. He's going to try and get it home. Minimal throttle. He's on the reserve tank. He hasn't got much left. It's going to be very close for Bargwanna. Car 35. He's running a fair way down the field at the moment. He's been losing a ton of time as a result of this fuel shortage. Here we are, bump between the Team Kiwi car, Jason Richards.
Larry would be nice and happy with that, wouldn't he? if you know Larry, he goes off and he'd be real pleased.
Watch Jason Richards leave the scene of the crime here in a hurry. Watch this.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like it never happened. He just gets out of the way and shoots past. And Larry Perkins will be brief.
Looks as though Glenn Seaton has made a ripper of a start. So the Ford driver starting to make some inroads in this round. It's been tough for him in the lead up to him. On the front wide, is that Paul Morris?
Could be Paul Morris or Jason Richards. It's definitely Paul Morris. A big contact.
Rick Kelly.
Rick Kelly and one of the Valvoline Cummins Commodores. Oh, Mark Larkham's caught up in that smash. John Faulkner's in there. Oh, that's messy down the back. And look at that. Paul Morris cleans up the back. A big traffic jam and damage to 5 or 6 cars.
Now this is likely to bring out the red flag, no doubt about it. Look at the damaged cars
Rodney
here.
Forbes,
Rodney Forbes, Russell Ingall's in that one, and so too Wayne Gardner.
Anthony Tratt, that's car number 75 coming around. So Paul Morris has got moving. That's Anthony Tratt. John Faulkner is stuck with nowhere to go. He got T-boned after getting spun around. And Russell Ingall's...
Someone pushed me straight into him.
Yep, Russell Ingall's stuck in his car. He gets out. All the drivers seem to be okay.
Put the fire out, John, or was it just a flash fire? It was stuck on full throttle, just revving us off, so I don't know.
Well, so talking about a fire on board the Dynapack car there. John Faulkner had a pretty good run back at Eastern Creek. You're on board the car of Russell Ingall as we take a look around and survey the damage. It's everywhere. Rick Kelly. Oh, there's all sorts of names and damage. That's at turn 3, just as they come up the incline.
I think Russell's actually on his way back to the pits already by the look of that. He's vacated the car and off. But this is the unfortunate thing that happens in some of these races because it's very, very crowded. There's 36 cars on the grid, makes it very difficult.
Okay, keep your eyes at the back of the field here. There you go, Rick Kelly's gone.
Now I wonder if he got a tap of some kind there, Dick. What might have set that off?
Well, it's pretty hard to see from that shot, but certainly Rick Kelly was the one that basically was involved, and boy, you know, then it's a chain reaction from there. Everything happens.
Bit of evasive action from Jason Bargwanna. Now, when that car of Rick Kelly's has rolled back, that's when the next, I guess, concertina has happened, hasn't it?
Absolutely,
There's Faulkner's car.
Faulkner's car, and then Forbes has sort of got into the back of Faulkner. So.
And then a very big impact at the end that involved Paul Morris. Some drivers that get through. Now take a look at Jason Bargwanna. He'll get speared out off the right of the track to our left.
Now was there contact there between Bargwanna and Kelly maybe?
Oh, I think it looks like one of the Valvoline cars and Kelly might have got together a little bit.
Look at the evasive action from everyone else here. Mark Larkham off into the dirt, or the grass I should say, so too McConville and Larry Perkins. Stephen White, a last minute move to move around.
And Paul Morris to finish it all off.
Here's another angle. Not really conclusive in terms of determining how it all started, but both the Shell Fords lucky to avoid it though.
Yeah, we've had our share for the weekend, I think.
Haven't you just look at the carnage that just evolves after one spin. Take a look at another angle as Rick Kelly gets spun around. Now watch the car number 17 Shell Helix Ford Falcon, just misses it. Stevie Johnson's probably driven straight to the newsagents to get a lottery ticket. The rest of them smashed to smithereens. 6 cars caught in that tangle. Another 5. So the wash up of all of that messes. Oh, Craig Lowndes goes around. That's at the hairpin. Lowndes does a big 360, avoids all the trouble. Will now try and get the 00 Motorsport Ford Falcon back on the track, which he does, but right at the back of the field. So first lap dramas in our first start. and our second start as well.
Strategy, Dick, a big question here with the pit window due to open very, very shortly. Just which way do you think a lot of the teams will play it?
Well, quite frankly, I think, you know, the safest way of doing these things, because you never know what's going to happen, is the earlier you do your pit stop, the less chance you've got of being caught out by a pace car.
There will be some people, though, that perhaps are further down the order. Maybe now a Craig Lowndes, who's right at the back of the pack, that could roll the dice.
Well, he could sort of stay out there a bit longer just to try and make up some ground, because, or he may choose to stop, because then he's got clean air in front of him.
We should make that point, what Dick's alluding to there. Now, there's some damage to the 00 Motorsport
I think he's
Ford.
broken a what's linkage or something at the back by the look of it.
So Craig Lowndes comes in. 00 Motorsport group are down in Tent City. They're right down the end of pit lane, or in fact the start of pit lane. So Lowndes only has to go about 10 or so metres before he pulls in, but then he's got a hell of a long ride out to get out of there. So they've had a look all around. Now let's see what happened. Yeah. Behind him is one of the Castrol Perkins.
What's linkage, I think, at the back there, where the rear end stepped out on him.
Very similar thing, in fact the same thing that happened to Jason Bright at Adelaide. We explained that to you, what's linkage is, and it basically holds the two wheels back together.
Well, the opening laps was such a physical affair, but Craig Lowndes, you were taken out for a different reason. What happened?
Well, the engine's blown up in the 00 car, unfortunately, going into the hairpin for the second restart. The rear's locked up, and I thought it might have been just a brake problem, but by the time I turned around, got out of everyone's way, got going again, and didn't even get back to the pits, and the engine shut down, so I've got an engine problem, unfortunately.
Talk about quick. The crew have almost got the engine out, back in again. Will you be out for race 3?
Oh, definitely out for race 3. It's something that's, I don't know what I've done to come to this place, but love the place. We're having such a strong run. It was great for us and Ford and for the fans, but unfortunately, it's the way it goes.
Chin up, mate. Enjoy the sunshine.
Thank you.
Your 98, his best finish was with HRT, a 7th. There's Glenn Seaton going off the track at turn 1.
Now, was there a moment there with Marcus Ambrose? It's difficult to determine from that shot, but we know that Ambrose is on a charge at the moment.
Together, the two Shell Helix Ford cars together, and Stephen Ellery does a repeat performance of Glenn Seaton's effort at turn 1 and gets out onto the dirt on the Nintendo GameCube replay. You can see what happens. Thankfully, no damage. Is getting too hot. A Nintendo GameCube replay at the back of the field shows some contact between one of the better electrical cars. That'd be Tony Longhurst or Max Wilson and one of your teammates, Rusty.
Some word from pit lane at the moment that maybe the 17 Ford has got dramas as well, so possibly some trouble for Stephen Johnson, and that's right for David Bernard, yeah.
Stone Brothers Racing, they've been very impressed with this car. It's got a new engine underneath. They've spent about $80,000 putting master than that man there was Marcus Ambrose. So more trouble for Stephen Johnson.
Look at the front right. Yep. There is dramas on the front right of that car.
Yeah, it looks like, actually looks like the wheel's come loose because it was sticking out of the guard. Now it's gone back in again.
I wonder if something's collapsed in the front suspension
that
there.
actually looks like something's actually gone in the front end.
Well, remember that section of the car basically has been totally redone since the smash that he had with John Bowe in Friday practice. So on lap 28 of 35, Stevie Johnson's done a good job just to maintain his position throughout the field, and now he's just going to have to limp back to the entry to pit lane, which isn't too far.
I reckon you've lost the left or the right front wheel looking at it, mate.
Yeah. I reckon that was a good call to bring it in.
The right front wheel ready for this thing?
No, it is an upright. Yeah, it's broken an upright in it, or a wishbone.
Well, gee, we ushered Dick Johnson out the commentary box door at just the right time, didn't we? He's not having a good day.
He'd be loving this, wouldn't he?
I don't know about
the right time, because I think all Dick's done this weekend is sign checks for things that need to be fixed. Lap 29 of 35 as Stephen Johnson comes in. Let's take a look at how they stand at the moment. Our race leader is Mark Scape. He's got a 2.46 second lead over his teammate Jason Bright. Then it's Kelly and Murphy fighting a good fight for 3rd and 4th. Bernard is the leading Ford driver, in fact the only Ford driver in the top 8. Marcus Ambrose and Bradley Jones make up your top 10.
Seaton is in 11th place. Good job by Paul Wheel. He made up 7 spots in the first race yesterday and doing a great job at the moment. So is Neil Crompton. After a tough weekend, he's rocketed up to 13th place. Great.
It's a tricky little area of the circuit. This is down the other end of the circuit. Max Wilson in car number 65. He's got Paul Radisich behind him. That is on the entry to the main straight. It's a very hard one to get right because you come through turns 8 and 9, the little flip-flop, and then they've got him round 4. John Bowes taking a little excursion, managed to dodge the signage on the side and gets it back on the track without too much trouble around turn 10.
At this stage in the weekend, John, how much of a factor would tyre wear be for
wants of the teams. I mean, they've only got an allocation of 10 tyres for the weekend. So at this point in time, the guys that are making early calls for pit stops, will they have tyres, do you reckon, that will last the distance?
Be that if you came in at, say, lap 2 or 3, that means they've put on their worst tyres. So they're going to have, obviously, a good set to run to the end. But someone that's going to stay out for 15 and 20 odd laps has obviously got 2 good sets of tyres and they'll make a huge inroads in that.
What about that John Bowe didn't make the grid for the Sunday races? Here's John Bowe getting in a little bit of trouble at turn 1, just on the run-off there.
Now, that's the second time that we've seen him have trouble, John.
Yeah, look, I think he's obviously playing around a bit with brake bias here, because every time he's left the track, it's from the rear brakes have locked up.
Larry Perkins and Tony Longhurst coming down into the bottom turn. Now, is there something down in that part of the track? Was there contact there?
I don't know, sometimes they go out in sympathy.
Great, things bunched up a little bit. Now, this is another incident.
Yeah, Jason Richards and Paul Romano doing a little bit of a dance. Round turn 4. Both been doing that all year.
Oh!
Now that's the reason why. A grass fire on the side of the circuit, that might be as a result of where Craig Lowndes went off. That's at turn 5 there, turn 4, coming around the sweeper, heading up towards the hairpin, which is turn 5. So there's Paul Morris. Just probably got the best view. Best ticket in the house for a spectator, the worst ticket in the house for a driver. So really not sure how that would have started. Obviously something's been dumped on one of the cars that's gone across.
Maybe one of the cars has had a moment and come off the track, and the heat from the car or one of the components on the car has perhaps kicked that off. So the officials there, this will bunch. Now, we are being told that in fact the safety car may have just been placed on standby, not actually brought out onto the track. So we'll try and verify that for you. If it has, it would have bunched the field up, and apparently now it is making its way out onto the track. So,
well, they can get this with Russell Ingall. There's the problems for Simon Wills.
Damage to the front left of the car, and the boys trying to determine just what may have caused it. Let's have a look here. Whoa. Anthony Trapp tangled up with Paul Romano, was it? Was that Wayne Gardner, the chief, taking some evasive action there?
And then
there's the contact between Trapp and Romano.
So that's just a different angle of the same incident. I mentioned Wayne Gardner, and I mentioned at the top of the show it'll be his last solo drive. I meant this season.
Good races today. Now let's have another look at this replay. John Bowe in trouble again.
He's been off there before, but he managed to escape trouble the first time, and he does it by inches the second. Now, the first time he just drove straight through those signs. I think he's just lined up that. It must be part of his track map. Take a look at this.
Talk us through it, John.
I think it's a reaction from no cool suit. He's probably just had a bit of brain fade there. But
and a pit stop effectively takes you about 40 seconds.
Here's Rodney Forbes.
Oh!
Just into the tyre wall. Nothing too bad out of that one. Certainly not as bad as what Stephen... Yeah, Craig Lowndes. This is the incident of Stephen Johnson.
Oh, he might have got a bit of a nudge there from his teammate.
His teammate, of all people. He was in the wars in Darwin.
Craig Lowndes right behind him. Lowndes will be desperate to pass the Brazilian. Look at the big
Smokes it up.
Oh, he might have had it. Has he had a tyre failure?
Oh, he doesn't worry about the chicane and gets the runoff and keeps going through. I was just about to say to you, I reckon Craig Lowndes is a bit nervous with Max Wilson in front of him. Remember Phillip Island, and that's the end of Max Wilson. The front left is all over the shop.
Yeah, it looked like I thought he had a flat tyre at first, but he's actually
sparks flying everywhere.
Suspension failure, or the wheels come loose or something. No, the wheel nut's still on there, so he's had some sort of suspension failure. What a shame. Max was going brilliantly there.
And he's just...
Guys, is it to be damage on the front left? On the front left is damage?
Alex Zirkling, the German engineer who oversees the preparation of the John Briggs Motorsports cars, warning the crew that they have the spanners ready because Max is going to need some quick fix-up work here. Look at the sparks flying from all the suspension components grinding into the asphalt. Now he just...
He's in pit lane, he's in pit lane.
No 40km/h speed limit needed for Max Wilson. That car is just grinding itself down as he limps it along pit lane. He's going to get it back to the pits, but there's going to be all sorts of damage to the lower suspension and perhaps the steering on that car. So they want to give it a thorough check out before they send him back into racing.
I hate to say it, Marco, but just as he came in there, I know he's on 3 wheels only, but as he came in there, that ugly yellow line seemed to get in the way of the middle of the car.
We're here. Guys, they're telling him to kill it, and Max is none too happy about it either. The engine is off. It is over for Max Wilson in this one. We'll try and get a word with him as he gets out of the car. He's pretty fired up, let me tell you. Max, what happened?
I don't know, something broke in the front suspension.
Not a happy camper, guys.
No, something broke in the front suspension, I think he said. Certainly looked that way. Oh, well, he's certainly showing a lot of speed, a lot of potential. Let's have a look at what happens here. Looks like the car just drops down. There it goes.
Oh, there it goes.
So you can see something fails in the front suspension. The car drops down on its right front corner. And then Max has to try and limp it back. Maybe the tunability. Oh, it's here for Engel. He's broken his front end as well.
That's at turn 1. He's headed straight towards the runoff area. Didn't have to go that far. Look at the way that the right front is wobbling all over the place.
Maybe he's clipped one of those tyre markers on the apex of one of the turns or clouded a concrete wall. Let's see what's going on here. Well, look, the way that right front wheel was wobbling around loose. Let's have a look. Here's Engel in the front of his shot. Oh, it's come loose before we got that shot. So what I was saying, this place is murder on cars around here, pounding them off curbs and bouncing them over things.
What did Marcus Ambrose say?
Dus is 100 verder. 100 verder, Job, get to tempo. Who's the ball, get to tempo. Who's the ball, get to tempo. Who's the ball, get to suit. Ball, get to suit. Is ball, get to. Is ball, get to. Maar dit weer op, get to. Niet de bal.